Hello crochet friends, today we are going to be crocheting my free pocket loaf hedgehog no-sew crochet pattern. So this is what we'll be making. He has cute little feet and a cute little nose. I just love him so much. So for this pattern it is completely no-sew except for the tiny embroidery of his nose. Other than that, there is absolutely no sewing whatsoever. So first up, materials. What we will need. We will need a light brown or tan yarn and dark brown yarn, or your colors of your choice. We will need some stuffing and a small amount of black yarn for his nose. Now I use a 4.5mm crochet hook for this pattern. We'll also need scissors, tapestry needle, and a stitch marker. And I also like to have a little pad just to keep track of single crochet rounds. And of course, a pencil to keep track of them with. So that's everything we need. So first up, we will be making his little ears. We have to make all the smaller parts first because that's how we will then make it no-sew. So first up we will need the light brown or tan yarn, or the yarn color of your choice. You don't have to use the same ones that I am making. And we will be making 2 of these ears. So let's get started. We will start off by making a magic circle, and I like to leave a decent amount of a tail for this because we will have to sew the loose end in for this. So start by making your magic circle. And then we single crochet 6 stitches into this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now we're going to pull that tight to have our magic circle. Now for the next bit, we will single crochet into the first stitch. So the first stitch is always a bit tight for me. So we will simply single crochet into the first stitch. Place my stitch marker so I don't forget that that's the first stitch. And then next we will increase. So insert it, single crochet 1, insert it into the same stitch, and single crochet again. So we will now have 3 stitches. So we just repeat that 3 times all up. So single crochet 1, increase, single crochet 1, and the last increase. So now we have 9 stitches all up, and what I like to do is to just slip stitch into the first stitch just to make it that little bit easier for when we crochet it into. So that's the first bit. So cut this, fasten it off, and that's our first ear. So that's it. They're only very small, as you can see, and we will need to sew this loose end in. That's why I leave plenty, so then I know I can be sewing it in properly. So I'm going to go do that and make the second ear. Feel free to rewind or pause it while you make your second one, and I will be back in a moment. Okay, so we should now have our 2 ears. And I'm sorry, but I forgot to mention that we will also be needing 15mm or 16 safety eyes. However, if this toy is going to a child under the age of 6, safety eyes are not actually safe. They pose a choking hazard. So if it is going to a child under the age of 6, I would seriously recommend embroidering the eyes. So now that we have our ears, we are on to the next part, which is the arms. So again, we're going to make a magic circle. And we will single crochet 6 again into the magic circle, and we will be making 2 of these. I think it would look weird with just one little arm, poor thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we will pull it tight again. And then just like with the ears, we are going to single crochet 1, increase 1 all the way around, so 3 times all up. So single crochet 1, insert my stitch marker, and increase, single crochet 1, and increase, and then one more time, single crochet 1, and increase. And this is also where I like to grab the yarn tail just to pull that a bit more tighter so there's not a little hole sticking through. So for the next 4 rounds, we are just going to be single crocheting 4 rounds. So I'm going to go off screen to do that. Feel free to pause and I'll be back once I've done. Okay, so I have just finished my 4 rounds of single crocheting the 9 stitches. So now we are going to single crochet 1, decrease 1. So this will get us back down to 6 stitches. So single crochet 1, put in my stitch marker, and then the decrease. And we will do this as a total of 3 times. So again, single crochet 1, decrease 1, last time, single crochet 1, and decrease. So now I will cut my strand of yarn. We don't need it long, just enough to fasten it off. Then we tuck the little tail from where we started our magic ring inside. And then this is when I like to stuff them. If you try to stuff them after the 4 rounds, it can not fit it very well. So it can make it a bit harder to do the decrease round down to 6 stitches. So now is when I like to stuff it. We don't actually sew this piece up because we will be crocheting into these 6 stitches to attach it to the hedgehog. So that is my first arm. I'm going to go off screen while I make the second one. Feel free to rewind or pause while you make your second arm. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I've just got his 2 little arms done. They're so little. So now we will be making his legs. So another magic circle. And we will be single crocheting 6 into this magic circle again. So let's do that now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So for the next round, we will be increasing in every single stitch. So there'll end up being 12 stitches all up. So it does end up being a bit chunkier than his arms, but they'll also be shorter. So into the first stitch, single crochet, insert stitch marker, and then single crochet into that same stitch to do the increase. So we'll be increasing 6 times to get a total of 12 stitches. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now for the next 2 rounds, we will simply be single crocheting 2 rounds. So I'm going to go off screen while I do that. Feel free to pause and I'll be back once it's done. Okay, so I've just finished single crocheting 2 rounds of the 12 stitches. So now for the last round, we are simply going to decrease in every single stitch. So that'll put us down to 6 stitches again. So that's the first decrease, put the stitch marker in, and we will be decreasing a total of 6 times. So another decrease, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Don't worry if the shape looks a little bit weird at the moment. Once you stuff it, it does take a better shape. And the last decrease. And I am now back down to 6 stitches. So again, cut and fasten off. Tuck the tail from the magic ring inside and then stuff. And again, we do not sew this piece up because we will be crocheting into all these stitches to attach it to the body. So you don't need a lot of stuffing for this, depending on how much you want it to help with the little shaping, and if you want it to be squishy or not squishy, it's up to you how much you stuff it. So that is the first leg. I'm going to go and make the second one off screen. Feel free to pause or rewind, and I'll be back once I have 2 little legs. Alright, so we should have our 2 little feet now. And now we are up for the fun part, the actual hedgehog for the head and the body. So again, we will magic circle 6 single crochets. So let's start with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we pull this tight, and now we single crochet this entire round. This helps give the nose the little point, which I did look up a fair few reference photos for, because I'm like, is this looking too much like a mouse? But I think it ended up working really well. So we're just going to single crochet this round of 6 stitches. Five, and 6. So for the next round, we will be increasing in every single stitch up to 12 stitches. So let's start that now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So this is the part where I find it easier to tighten up the nose and then turn it out so it is the right way around. So we should have 12 stitches now, and we are going to again just single crochet this whole round of 12 stitches. I'm going to go and do that off screen and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I've just single crocheted my round of 12 stitches, and now we're going to increase again. So we're going to single crochet 1, increase 6 times all the way up to 18 stitches. So single crochet 1, and increase, and this will get us up to the 18 stitches. We do this a total of 6 times. I'm going to go off screen to do that, so feel free to pause and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so we should now have 18 stitches. So for the next round we are just going to single crochet all 18 stitches. This helps give the pointy shape, whereas if we were just increasing, eventually when we stuff it, it would make it more flat. So this, doing the single crochet rounds between every increase round just helps give it that point, which is of course what the hedgehog needs for his nose, because they have pointy noses. So single crochet all 18. Then for the next round we will be doing another increase, so we will be single crocheting 2, increase 1, 6 times, and that will get us up to 24 stitches. So I'm going to go off screen while I do that. Again, it is single crochet 2, increase 6 times, up to 24 stitches. So feel free to pause while you do that, and I'll be back in a minute once I have that done. Alright, so I'm just finishing up my single crochet 2 increase round now. So 1, 2, and increase, and I now have 24 stitches. So for the next round we are just going to single crochet 1 round again. So I'm going to go off screen while I do that. Feel free to pause and we'll meet back once we've single crocheted 24 stitches. So I have just single crocheted 1 round of my 24 stitches, and now we are going to do another round of increases. So in this round we will be single crocheting 3 and then increasing. So this will get us up to 30 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, increase. So we repeat this for a total of 6 times, and then after this round we will be single crocheting another round. So I'm going to go off screen while I do this single crochet 3 increase round and the next single crochet round, and I'll be back in a moment. So feel free to pause while you catch up. Okay, so we should have finished our single crochet 3 increase round and then our plain single crochet round. So we should have 30 stitches. Now this is the last increase round for the head. So what we're going to do now is single crochet 4 increase. And this will get us up to 36 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then increase. And again, we do this for a total of 6 times, and then the next round we just single crochet the 36 stitches. So I'm going to go off screen while we do that. Remember, it is a single crochet for increase round, and then the next one is a single crochet round, and then we'll be ready to attach the arms. So feel free to pause, and I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so we should have finished our single crochet 3 increase round and then our plain single crochet round. So we should have 30 stitches. Now this is the last increase round for the head. So what we're going to do now is single crochet 4 increase. And this will get us up to 36 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then increase. And again, we do this for a total of 6 times, and then the next round we just single crochet the 36 stitches. So I'm going to go off screen while we do that. Remember, it is a single crochet 4 increase round, and then the next one is a single crochet round, and then we'll be ready to attach the arms. So feel free to pause, and I'll see you in a moment. So we should have 36 stitches, and we should have just finished with a single crochet round, and now we are ready to attach the arms. So first we are going to single crochet 4 stitches. One, 2, 3, and 4, and now is when we attach the first arm. So get one of your arms, and then we insert it into the stitches on both sides. So it'll look like this. And then we insert the hook into the next stitch on the head. So it'll be like this, and then we single crochet it. And then we do that with the other stitches. So we have 6 stitches, but we are single crocheting them as if they are 3, because we're single crocheting through both sides. And this helps close it up as well and makes it a bit stronger. So 2 and 3. Alright, we now have our first arm attached. So now we're going to just plainly single crochet 22 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. So now is when we will single crochet the second arm onto the next 3 stitches. So grabbing your second arm, do the exact same thing as what you did with the first arm. So put it into the stitch. Sometimes you may have a little bit of stuffing pull through with the hook. I wouldn't worry about this too much. It doesn't really affect it much. If there's a lot poking out, maybe just cut that bit out. But other than that, it shouldn't really be anything to worry about. So 3. And this helps us for continuing on because we just crochet into these top stitches here for future rounds. So now we single crochet 4 to the end of this round. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now your pocket loaf hedgehog should look something like this. And now we are going to attach the ears. So I'm going to go off screen for a moment because I'm going to single crochet 12 stitches and I will meet you back once we have crocheted 12 stitches. Feel free to pause while you do this. Okay, so we should have single crocheted our 12 stitches, so we are at the top of the hedgehog. Now, grabbing an ear, what you're going to want to do is turn it the wrong way and place it flat against the head. And we're just going to do what we did with the arm. So insert it into the top stitch and into the head, body. And I find it easier to have that on that side first. So we'll single crochet 1, and then into the next stitch. I generally do this into the second stitch into the stitch where I slipped it, because it just makes it so much easier. And that way you don't have this loose piece sticking out the top. 2, and 3. Now we're going to just single crochet 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then we do the same with the other ear. So turning it so it's facing this way, and then we insert the hook into the first stitch here, and then into the head, single crochet it into the stitch that we slipped, then into the second stitch on the head. And then into the third stitch. And then after this, we will single crochet 12 to the end of this round. So we should still have 36 stitches. Now the reason we placed the ears the way that we did is so then when we unfold them, they are the right way out. Now don't worry if they don't like to sit upwards yet, if they keep flopping down. Having them like this makes it easier as we crochet along. So let's go and do our 12 stitches now. I'm going to go off screen while I finish this round, so feel free to pause and I'll catch up with you in a moment. Okay, so I have almost finished crocheting the 12 stitches from the ear. However, I have not worked the 12th stitch because now is when we are going to change the color to the dark brown. So I'm going to get that ready. So what I like to do is I like to do the color change on the last stitches. This just works better for me. You can do it however works best for you before we start the next round. So there we go. And then I like to just tie this up just to give it that bit of extra strength, but not too tight as to warp the stitches. So then it's, if you do them too tightly, it's just impossible to crochet into them, so we don't want that. So we are now up to round 15. So with our new color, we are going to single crochet 5, increase 1. So this gets ready for the body, which will be a bit bigger than the head. So I'm going to single crochet 1, two, three, four, and 5. And then increase. And we are going to do this for a total of 6 times. So we will end up with 42 stitches. So I'm going to go off screen while I do this. Remember, it's single crochet 5, increase, and feel free to pause and I'll catch up with you once we finish this. Alright, so I have just finished the single crochet 5 increase round of the dark brown, and now is also the best time to insert your eyes. So I use 15mm safety eyes for this, but if this is going to a child under the age of 3, I really recommend that you embroider them instead. They go between rounds 9 and 10, and I like to line them up with the ears. So feel free to pause while you do that and press play when you are ready to start the next round. So we should have 42 stitches all up, and now is when we start doing the texture for his back, for all the bubbles. So we are going to single crochet 5. So let's start with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now is where we start the bobble stitches. So we are going to double crochet 3 bobble stitches into the same stitch. So I will show you how to do that in case you don't know how. So you do yarn over, insert into stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 stitches. So you should have 2 stitches left. So then you yarn over, you insert back into the same stitch, yarn over again, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 more stitches. So you should now have 3 left on your hook. Yarn over, insert into the same stitch again, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 again. So you should now have 4 stitches left on your hook. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 stitches. So that is how you do the double crochet 3 bobble stitch into the same stitch. Now we're just going to single crochet 1. And we will be doing the double crochet 3 bobble stitch and single crochet 1 a total of 16 times. So another bobble into the next stitch, and then a single crochet. So I'm going to go and do this for all up of 16 times, and I'm going to go off screen for that, so feel free to pause while you do that, and I'll meet back with you once those 16 times are done. Okay, so we should have 16 total bobble stitches now. And you should have noticed that there are still 5 remaining stitches. Your last stitch should have been a single crochet. And so now we just single crochet the remaining 5 stitches. So for this hedgehog, I have designed him specifically to have a flat tummy. That way he sits better, he doesn't roll around everywhere, and just looks a bit more realistic. So I will show you in a moment what I mean on my finished one. So we should have single crocheted the last 5 stitches of this round, and now I will show you. So this is the bobble, and then this is his tummy. So as you can see, it is flat, so he just sits that bit better and doesn't just roll around everywhere. So that's why we do this. So for our next round, we are going to want to push these out before we start, because otherwise it will not look how it is supposed to if they remain inwards, I suppose would be the term. So we want to make sure we push all of the bobbles out so they are the right way. Now for the next round, we are just simply going to single crochet all 42 stitches. So I'm going to go off screen while I do that, and I will meet back with you in a moment. So feel free to pause while you single crochet the next round. Alright, so I have just finished my single crochet round. So for the next 2 rounds, we are going to repeat those 2 rounds of the bobble stitch and the single crochet. So I'm going to put the text down at the bottom of this video, just in case you need a reminder of what stitches are what. So feel free to pause this video. I will be going off screen while I do these 2 again, and I'll meet back with you in a moment. Okay, so I have just finished my second bobble stitch round and my single crochet round. And now is when I'm going to just add a little bit of stuffing to the nose. You don't want to overstuff the nose because, as you can see, it is very pointy, and if you overstuff it, it just doesn't fit in there very well. So I just like to add a little bit in there just to make it easier to get and hold that pointy shape, which can be a bit difficult to do sometimes if you wait too long to start stuffing it. So just to help hold that shape that little bit better, I like to tuck it in real nice and tight in there. So the next round of bubble stitches does have a different stitch count. This is because the stitches do not always stay in the same spot. So this is why it will change every few rounds. So this time we are going to single crochet 6 stitches, sorry. Last time we single crocheted 5, this time we are single crocheting 6. So that's the first one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is what helps keep the consistent flat stomach for the hedgehog. So now we are going to double crochet 3, bubble stitch, single crochet 1, 16 times again. So that stays the same. So I'm going to go off screen while I do that. So we will end up with a total of 16 bubble stitches again. So we double crochet 3, bubble stitch, single crochet 1, 16 times. Feel free to pause and I will meet up with you once I'm done. Okay, so I have just made my 16 bubble stitches, and now we are simply going to just single crochet the last 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, now we are going to push out all the 16 bubble stitches so they are out the right way. And now we are going to single crochet 1 round, and I will be going off screen to do this, so feel free to pause and I will see you when we've single crocheted 1 round. Okay, so it is starting to take shape. I really like how it makes it just have that bit of texture that actually looks really like a hedgehog now rather than a mouse. So we are going to repeat the last 2 rounds again. So just like before, I'm going to put the text at the bottom of the screen for you in case you need a reminder so you don't have to rewind the video, and we're going to go and work on those. So I'm going to go off screen. Feel free to pause while we make another 2 rounds. Okay, so we should now have 4 bubble stitch rounds all up and 4 single crochets in between. So for the next round we are going to single crochet 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And now we are going to double crochet 3 bobble stitch, single crochet 1, 16 times again. So and single crochet. So we're going to do this a total of 16 times again. So I'm going to go off screen while I do this. Feel free to pause and I'll catch up with you once we've done 16 bobble stitch single crochets. Okay, so I have just finished my 16 double crochet 3 bobble stitch single crochet 1s, and now we are going to single crochet the last 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and this next round is a little bit different because we need to start getting ready for the shaping and attaching the legs. So in this round we are going to single crochet 5, decrease 6 times. So single crochet the first stitch, put in my stitch marker, so that's the first stitch, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now we're going to do the decrease stitch. So we will be single crocheting 5, decreasing for a total of 6 times. So by the end we should have 36 stitches all up. I'm going to go off screen while I finish this round. Feel free to pause and I will catch up with you once I'm done. So we should have all just finished our single crochet 5 decrease round, and now we have to do one more bobble stitch round before we can attach his feet. So we are going to single crochet 7. So 1, put in my stitch marker, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And so now, because we've just done a decrease round and we have less stitches, we will only be doing a double crochet 3 bobble stitch and then a single crochet 1 14 times instead of 16. So I'm going to go off screen while I do that. So it's double crochet 3 bobble stitch and then a single crochet 1 14 times. So feel free to pause while you do that, and I will see you once we're done. Okay, so we should have just done our 14 bobble stitch single crochets. So we should single crochet the last stitch for that round. And now we are up to the round where we attach the leg. So we want to single crochet 7. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. So now we are going to attach the leg, the first leg. So just like we did with our arms, we're going to insert it into both sides and into the next stitch on the body and single crochet. Now with this being on the bobble stitches, it can be very easy to accidentally crochet them into the same stitch, so be very careful not to do that. So for the second bit, through both sides again, and then into the next stitch, which is this one for me, because this is the one I just did. I want to crochet into the next stitch. It can be very tricky and easy to accidentally crochet it into the same stitch, and then when you get to the end of the round you will not have the right amount of stitches. So the third one, and make sure that's into the next stitch as well. So I'm going to go off screen. So we will be crocheting 22 stitches. So feel free to pause while we do that, and I'll see you when we're up to attaching the second leg. So 22 single crochets. Okay, so we should have single crocheted 22 stitches, and now we are ready to attach the last leg. So just like before, into the body, single crochet, and again make sure for the second one and third one that you are not crocheting into this stitch you just did, because it is very easy to do. So make sure it's the next stitch that you're crocheting into, 2, and then 1 more, 3, and then we should have one last stitch to single crochet. If you find you have more than likely you have accidentally crocheted into the same stitches for attaching the leg, so do be very cautious of that. But we now have our little legs. So for the next round we are going to single crochet 8, so 1, put my stitch marker back in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now we are going to double crochet 3, bobble stitch, single crochet 1, 13 times. So I'm going to go off screen while I do that. So it's double crochet 3, bobble stitch, single crochet 1, 13 times. Feel free to pause and I will catch up with you once we're done. Okay, so we should have just finished our double crochet 3, bobble stitch, single crochet 1, 13 times, and now we're going to single crochet the last 2 stitches. And then pop out all 13. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 bobbles. So now we are going to do decrease round. So we're going to single crochet 4, decrease 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and decrease. So we're going to do that a total of 6 times, so then we will end up with 30 stitches. So I'm going to go off screen while I finish this round. Feel free to pause and I'll see you when we have 30 stitches. Okay, so we should have just finished our single crochet 4 decrease round and we should have 30 stitches. Now, if you haven't already, this is the round where I begin stuffing. So as you can see, I've already gone ahead and stuffed mine, so feel free to stuff yours now. And if you did stuff your nose at the beginning, it shouldn't have gotten too squished. If you don't stuff it fairly early on with just that small amount, I find it can squish the nose quite a bit. So just doing that bit extra sooner rather than later does help it keep its shape. So when you have stuffed your body to the amount that you like, we will get on to the next round. So for this round, we are single crocheting 7 stitches. So let's start with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now we're going to double crochet 3 bubble stitch, single crochet 1 11 times. So I'm going to go off screen while I do that, so feel free to pause. It's double crochet 3 bubble stitch, single crochet 1 11 times. So feel free to pause and I'll see you when we're finished. So we should have just finished our double crochet 3 bubble stitch, single crochet 1 11 times. So we should be up to the last stitch, which we just single crochet. So push out all the bubbles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we are up to another decrease round. So we are going to single crochet 3 decrease. So let's get started on that. 1, 2, 3, 'and decrease. And we will do this for a total of 6 times. So I'm going to go off screen while I complete this, and by the end we should have 24 stitches. So it's single crochet 3 decrease 6 times and we should have 24 stitches. Feel free to pause and I will see you when this round is done. So at this point we should be down to 24 stitches, and for the next round we are doing another decrease. So for this one we are doing a single crochet 2 decrease round 6 times. So 1, and 2, and decrease. So we'll do this a total of 6 times, and by the end of this round we should be down to 18 stitches. So I'm going to go off screen while I complete this round. It's single crochet, 2, decrease, and we will be down to 18 stitches. So feel free to pause and I'll see you when we've finished. Okay, so we should be at 18 stitches now. So we are going to be doing the last bobble stitch round for this pattern. So we are going to single crochet 5, one, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now we're going to double crochet 3, bobble stitch, single crochet 1, 6 times. So I'm going to go off screen while I do this. It is double crochet 3, bobble stitch, single crochet 1, 6 times. Feel free to pause and I'll see you when we're done. So for the last stitch of this round, we simply single crochet it. And we are up to another decrease round. So this round we are going to single crochet 1, decrease. So single crochet 1. Decrease. And we do this a total of 6 times. So by the end we should have 12 stitches. I'm going to go off screen while I complete this round of single crochet 1, decrease, and feel free to pause. Also, after this round, it is the best possible time to finish stuffing your hedgehog. So make sure that if you want it to be a bit more filled, to do that after we complete this round of single crochet 1, decrease. So feel free to pause and I will meet back with you in a moment. Okay, so I've just finished the single crochet 1, decrease round and I have stuffed my hedgehog. Now, one tip I can give you about the shaping of stuffing it is to make sure you firmly stuff into the sides and the top rather than pushing into the stomach, which should remain as flat as possible. So we are up to the last round now, where we will single crochet no stitches, sorry, we will be decreasing into each stitch 6 times. So it can get a bit awkward to hold your hedgehog at this point, so just do the best you can. So decrease, and we do this a total of 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, and 6. So if you do want to add any little bit more of stuffing in, you can squeeze a little bit more in just to make it that bit more firmer, flatter, I suppose, for this piece. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to add just a little bit more, into this small gap. Just to make sure I'm happy with it. And now we fasten off. So, leaving a longish tail, fasten off. And then we sew him up. So this is when you will need your tapestry needle. And then work your way around the 6 stitches. 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then you just pull that closed. And then I like to just sew this through a few more times just to make sure it is safe and secure. Don't worry if some of the stuffing comes out. I usually pick that out, so that won't really cause much of an issue. And then I like to thread it into the toy just to add that extra strength of it coming out less, or at least less of a chance of it coming out. So then we cut that and we are all finished. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I know it was a bit bigger of a tutorial and a bit more of a complicated one than I have done in the past, but I really hope you're happy with your cute little hedgehog and his flat cute tummy. Be sure to let me know in the comments what you think, and if you would like more tutorials of this sort, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!